Which one is going to be better between the two 2025 BMWs? We have the 330i in Portimao Blue Metallic over Cognac Interior and the BMW M340i in Brooklyn Gray Metallic over Takara Red. This year we get updates to the interior, the suspension, more torque going into the M340i. I'm going to go over some pros and cons to see which one is going to be better, as well as comparing this against the competition. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Ride, and we're going to start with the 330i. The front is going to have standard LED headlights and daytime runnings that incorporate into the kidney grille. It's an active grille shutter with the satin aluminum that's going to be around it. Front parking sensors, the lower gets the glossy black, and it still looks aggressive even going into a 330i. Now we do have the M Sport package, so it's going to add a few details on the exterior as well as giving us an M Sport suspension. They no longer have a 330e this year that has been discontinued, going against the M340i, standard LED headlights and daytime runnings that go into the glossy black kidney grille to active grille shutter. This has the Shadowline package, which gives us the full LED headlights with cornering lights. The M Sport Package Pro, which gives us the extended Shadowline trim, and the lower bumpers are going to look identical. But what's housed underneath the hood changes the whole configuration, because when you go into the 330, you're getting a 2.0 liter BMW twin power turbocharged. That's producing 255 horsepower with 295 pound-feet of torque out of the B48 engine. That's reaching 60 at 5.6 seconds. Add the xDrive, that's going to be 5.4 seconds, which is a intelligent all-wheel drive system. Top speed will not change though. It's going to be at 130, maxing to 150 per hour, and that's going to be the same on the 330i and the M340i. The M Sport package adds these 19-inch bicolor wheels. That's a 225/40 19 up front and a 255/35 19 out back. That M Sport package also adds the variable sport steering, so you're getting the sport car feel, but you're still achieving 28 mpgs for the city, 35 mpgs for the highway. That's paired to an 8-speed Steptronic automatic transmission. As for the M340i, you're getting the B58 engine, which is a 3.0 liter BMW twin power turbocharged, producing 386 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, paired to an 8-speed Steptronic automatic transmission, but that drops the 0 to 60 to 4.4 seconds. Add the xDrive, you're at 4.1 seconds. Because we have the M Sport Package Pro, we get the red brake calipers that's housing 4 pistons in the front, a single floating caliper in the rear, 19-inch M dual spoke bicolored wheels. The 48-volt mild hybrid technology has been tweaked, so that's why we're getting an additional 20-ish pound-feet of torque, and it's still achieving 27 mpgs for the city, 33 mpgs for the highway. Now, going back to the question at hand, which is better? It's going to be around 15 grand different spec to spec that we're showcasing today. But when you put in perspective the numbers, you're getting a quicker 0 to 60, but the weight distribution is actually going to be better on the 330i at 52.1, 47.9, and even adding the xDrive, it's still going to be at 53 to 47 weight distribution on the 330i. But for me, I'm more about the performance numbers, because when you add that with the weight distribution, with the tweaks for the suspension, because this is going to drive smoother than the 2024 variant, I would go the extra 14, 15 grand and take the M340i. But let us know in the comments which way you would go. The 330i did not receive any horsepower or torque updates, but it did receive updates in the suspension to give more of a luxury drive, adding to the sports sedan feel, which is kind of what BMW is needing to capture, because typically a BMW is going to be more sporty compared to Audi and Mercedes. And going against them 0 to 60, it's going to be faster. The Genesis is going to have more horsepower and torque, but when you're looking at the weight distribution, BMW typically has better geometry with their vehicles. The M340i gets the LED taillights with the trunk lid spoiler, you get the gloss black, and the lower keeps the aggressive look whether you go 330i or M340i. Just the exhaust that's exposed will be tweaked. So I do like that they put enough differences to distinguish the two, but it still boils down to the price is a second-ish quicker in a 0 to 60, worth 14 to 15 grand. The weight distribution being just a touch different, the styling elements being very similar, or is it better to go into the competition? Drop a comment and let us know which way you would go. Quick release going into 16.9 cubic feet of storage. You get a net here that you can pull up so it kind of has a divider. It goes down a little deep. Another storage cubby here, and to split fold the rear bench, pull these tabs here. It's going to fold down at a 60-40 split, or you can fold it at a 40-20-40 split. And that will maximize the cargo capacity to the 330i sedan. Power trunk lid going into 16.9 cubic feet of storage. You get a net here that can hold more goodies because that is a deeper storage pocket with bag holders. Split fold the rear bench by pulling these tabs. It's going to fold out at a 60-40 split, and that will increase the cargo capacity to the M340i. You need to go inside, start it up, so you can hear that exhaust note. The key fob for the 330i, which will be the same as the M340i. The same introduction. Sensitech interior, cognac is the color. We have a total of 12-way power seat adjustment, heated front seats, manual cushion extensions, memory for the driver. And you're gonna see the interior has been reworked, especially in the center area here. It is a driver-focused setup, and on this side, you'll actually notice a difference in the footwell area. Your knees sit up a little bit higher than on the driver's side, but it still carves out plenty of leg room. Let's fire it up. BMW's Curve 1 panel screen. We have a 14.9-inch touchscreen here with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Wi-Fi hotspot, 5G capabilities, and it's an updated iDrive 8.5 system, dual climate control settings. You have to do everything through the touch, as well as a heated steering wheel. Put it into reverse. You get a reverse camera, the sensors in the front and the rear. The trajectory will expand out. Kind of wish that it would cover up the whole screen though. I mean, let me know your thoughts on that. The air vents, the way they're reworked, I like how they look more sporty, but I feel like you get more air with the old design. I do like how they put this carbon fiber look with the aluminum that's brushed through the center of the dashboard. Reworked steering wheel. It's a octagonal, horizontal lined with a flat bottom. This is M spec because of the M Sport package. You have that sport design on the side, multi-function paddle shifts. It's heated with a 12.3 digital reader that can go through an array of different content for the driver. And you can also change this whole layout too to make it look a little bit more dynamic without just hitting the sport mode here to change the cluster or change it into comfort. And Eco Pro will actually help coach you how to drive the vehicle. Open this up to a wireless charging pad, BMW's digital key, USB 12 volt, the rocker to put it into gear. That same aluminum mesh comes into play. It's going to be more sporty. It opens up into a medium-sized storage pocket with another USB port. Headroom, more than enough. Auto-dimming rear view mirror, LED interior lights with a moonroof, and the door panel dashboard configuring together the same. You have the cognac that goes in between it. So I like how they have the two-tone with this cognac and the black and that aluminum mesh in between it. Ambient lighting going through here. One touch up and down for all the windows. It's going to be more sporty with a large beverage holder carved out. As for the M340i, Takara red perforated Syntec interior, the same power seat adjustment for the driver and passenger, which is 12-way manual cushion extensions, memory for the driver. And you're going to notice the same design layout with the same driver focus setup, except we have the upgraded Harman Kardon sound system because of the premium package, which also gives us a heads-up display. Let's fire it up. The interior will be identical to the 330i, except we're getting a red on the 12 o'clock here, and the contrast stitch is different there. And the gauge cluster will do the same thing, except I feel it looks a little bit more athletic. Plus, you can go through an array of different content. You can also add the AR, which we do not have, and we have the heads-up display, which you can change from a sport view, a direct view, or directional view, standard view, or an effective view with a reduced view, so it's a little bit more smaller. Leg space is going to be the same. Same thing for headroom, and the same layout here, except for the two-tone is not going to be on the dashboard. I kind of wish that they did that red in the center here like they did with the Cognac, because they do it on the door. You get the ambient lighting, one touch up and down for all the windows. It's still firm with the same size storage pocket. For the back seats of the M340i, this is the opening that you have to fit 3 more, or you can fold this down. Get the cup holders and armrest to fit 2 with a third climate control, 2 USB-C ports, no storage behind any of the front seats. And the door is going to be just as sporty as the front, except they leave this here, which is definitely a con to me because this is what's in the front to unlock and lock the doors, with about the same size storage pocket. Sitting behind me, the seats contour inward, so it does help there, but this seat belt here is on my back. Headroom is more than enough. It's comfortable, but I wish they would relocate that seat belt. Sitting into the center, feet, butt, leg, and shoulder space. It's actually pretty good. Knee space isn't too bad either. And headroom, I mean, it's an M340i. Whereas the 330i is basically the same thing with butt, leg, shoulder, headroom. I mean, overall, BMW does a good job giving the capabilities to fit 3 back here. Third climate control, USB, air vents, no storage. The door will be the same as the M340i, except we're not receiving the Harbin Kardon sound system back here. And that's the opening that you have. The B48 versus the B58, you're talking 131 horsepower more, 74 pound-feet of torque more. Here we're at 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. A better weight distribution, suspension feels good. It's still sporty, don't get me wrong, but I appreciate that because when I'm in a BMW, I want it to be more sporty and luxury blended in with technology, and they're nailing all of those key points, especially if you just go into a 330i sedan. I would consider ticking the box to the xDrive, not because of the 0 to 60 being quicker, but just it feels a little bit more tight whenever you're taking some of the bends. But overall, it's good. It's sealed up as well. You don't hear too much of the exterior noise. And these are upgraded 19-inch staggered wheels. I mean, it's ready to go whenever you push the throttle. It doesn't feel heavy at all. So if you're saying, well, I don't know, because the 330i, it doesn't have as much horsepower than a G70. That being said, this is still quicker on a 0 to 60. Maneuverability is not an issue. The steering is light. Seat comfort is good. Braking, I mean, if I really need to, you could stop on a dime. 5.6 seconds 0 to 60. I mean, I can see people getting that, and realistically speaking, I would put it into comfort most of the time on the 330i. You don't need to go full throttle all the time. And when you go Eco Pro, like I was saying on the interior, it actually helps coach you so that way you get better MPGs, and it'll show you that you're getting plus miles whenever you go at a lower RPM. So I think that BMW is going the right direction, especially with that 48-volt mild hybrid technology, but it's going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is you have the performance here. Not a big fan of the auto start stop, but you do have a button that you could turn it on and off. One of the things that I dislike heavily about the auto start stop though is when you're coming to a roll stop around 3-4 miles an hour, the vehicle will just die. And then when you try to engage it, like you push the gas pedal, it kind of has a little knock to it. So it's still not as seamless as it should be. This is 2025. They just need to clean it up. I like that we're getting the upgraded tech. So we now have iDrive 8.5, so you don't have to worry about updates and things of that nature. I dislike that you have to add a lot of features in order to make this or capture something similar to an M340i without the B58 engine, meaning the suspension. Adding features here will cost you more money than the M340i. So it's a smooth drive for daily, but is this something that you could take to an aftermarket and just make it more performance? Let's see how it looks. Oh, it's gripping. A little bit harder. And the exit. It's definitely quick. Something to consider if you want to do some aftermarket work, because you can do that with this engine and make it a lot more fast. I mean, look how it just grips. Well, let's check out the M340i in the comparison. And now for the B58 with 131 horsepower more, 74 pound-feet of torque more. All I can say is wow. I mean, you can feel the difference immediately. It's a completely different engine, 386 horsepower with 369 pound-feet of torque. This is the sweet spot. If you're all right with spending about 14, 15 grand more, you're gonna have the M suspension, so you don't have to worry about that. And I like that you don't have to necessarily add a whole bunch of features in order to make this vehicle what it is. Because when you go into the 330, I mean, you will want to add a few more features. The exhaust filters through the whole time. I mean, it feels quick. It's sealed up pretty good. Do hear some road noise, but we have 19-inch staggered wheels. The suspension, compared to 2024, this is going to be a lot more smoother. So for the day in and day out use, I mean, I think that BMW done a lot better job. It doesn't feel as rigid. Unfortunately, the seat cushions are not going to be as comfortable as Mercedes and Audi, but that is to be expected. It's going to take me into some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros, I like that we got some updates with that 48-volt mild hybrid technology, so it has increased some performance. 0 to 60 is quick enough. I mean, you're in the low 4-second margin. Put the X drive, and you're at 4.1 seconds. You got 130 mile-an-hour top speed, up to 155 mile-an-hour top speed. Where the heck are you going to do these speeds? This is just driving in normal. I mean, you're passing everybody from light to light. Putting it into comfort kills the exhaust note. Going to Eco Pro, now the pedal feels a little bit heavy, but it's coaching me how to get better MPGs, which with this engine variant, I would stick with comfort and either Sport or Sport Plus most of the time so I can hear that exhaust note. Because at these prices, you kind of want to hear it. For maneuverability, and that was in Eco Pro. If I put it in Sport, put it into Sport Plus, look at that. RPM just keeps going higher. I love it. But you're not going to drive it all the time like this, and you're going to hit a lot of lights and traffic. I get it all the time with the live streams and through comments, you know, why do you talk so much about performance and this and that? When you start going into an M Sport variant, you are looking to capture that, so that's already disqualified. Now, as for the 330i, that's more of your everyday drive. That's why I really specified most of the specs for that everyday drive, showing some of the performance difference from this. Sorry to be quiet, I just really like the exhaust note. Oh, I got some of the pops there. Oh, it's lovely. It's actually funny, I watched a TikTok video and it had AI, and the person on there specified when you get these type of vehicles, you want to throw a certain exhaust on there so it sounds like AK-47s. And it's so funny because you get that exhaust note without having to spend more money because you're already in the M Sport variant. But what's an M340i without giving some performance? It's gonna get you a speeding ticket quick. We don't have the X-Drive, so you heard the tires. We also have tire shine. Look how it just grips. I love it. Look at the exit. Lovely. Is it better than a 330i? I would pick the M340i so you have the more performance, but let me know which way you would go in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, membership, live stream, TikTok, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2025 BMW M340i for our car review.